Good day, everyone. May it be morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whatever it is. Hello, my name is Dread. This is Miss Valley Entertainment News. We're going to be covering and reacting to a video called Dragon Age the Veilguard. Huge news. Now, I've been waiting for a long time to hear some more news about Dragon Age 4. I've said many times, other than Baldur's Gate, even before Baldur's Gate 3 came out, the Baldur's Gate franchise we're talking about, my favorite fantasy franchise other than Baldur's Gate is Dragon Age. And I absolutely love the world of Thedas that was created. So I've been anxious to hear about Dragon Age 4, or whatever it may be called, for a long time. We thought it was going to be one thing. Now it looks like it's changing its name. I don't know. But it looks like, according to this video here by Wolfheart FPS, and this will be linked down below so you can watch it yourself if you want to. It looks like we've had some news drop, hopefully, because cover this whole video and there's been no news. I'll be a little disappointed. So we're gonna take a stab at this, people. You know, I've been hesitant though about Dragon Age and BioWare because this franchise got rebooted time and time again, and they kept effing up really, really badly. And BioWare, you know, they need to hit this one out of the park, and I don't know if they will. I honestly don't know, but I want to see. Spoiler alert. I'll give you a little bit of spoiler or a little bit of more info, if you will. I'm not a big fan of Wolfheart, which is why if you look over here, you'll see the subscribe button has not been clicked. I unsubscribed to Wolfheart FPS quite some time ago and do not follow him at all. It's nothing against Wolfheart as a person. I don't know Wolfheart. But it is due to an issue I had quite some time ago now, maybe several years ago, I think at this point, 2 to 3 years, whatever it may be, with the moderators on his site and other members of his Discord. So Discord moderators and Discord members, where after I signed up there, I got harassed very, very, very badly and treated most unfairly. To me, it felt like being back in high school where the cool kids decided they were going to pick on you unmercifully. And that's what happened. It was gross. It was sick. I had to ban some people from showing up on my Discord and beacon off, and ban people from my sites, my YouTube channels, etc., because they were coming from Wolfheart's Discord to attack me. It was fucking sick. Be that as it may, I don't know Wolfheart directly. As far as I know, I've never spoken to Wolfheart directly. So we're still going to cover this because this is what came across my YouTube feed. So here we go. Just so you know, though, not somebody I like, but I respect that he does cover a lot of RPG stuff.
So BioWare dropped some pretty big Dragon Age 4 news. Hello everyone. So BioWare dropped some pretty big Dragon Age 4 news today, which I'm going to go over all of that in this video. But today will also mark the transition on my channel into covering this game in depth, kind of like I did with Baldur's Gate 3. So if you're interested in
no one
things
cares,
such as a lore series leading us up to launch, you're
I'm
in
kidding.
the right place.
I just don't care. Wolfheart, move on. Move on.
Only 56 minutes ago, BioWare tweeted, "Exciting news! Hashtag Dragon Age fans. Join us on June 11th for the first official gameplay reveal." So the time has finally come. Holy crap.
So it looks like perhaps they have changed the name of the game to the Veilguard. Unless they're showing us something else on June 11th. Let's see.
We're actually getting some official gameplay, and that is super exciting.
We thought it was going to be Dreadwolf.
That once I click on the article that BioWare gave us right here, the blog that they gave us. But it's just crazy to hear gameplay reveal after all of us have been waiting for so damn long. Holy lawnmower. This gameplay reveal is going to be over.
Well, yeah, we've been waiting a long time, but we all knew since late last year or whatever when they announced this that this was coming in June. We knew in June, sometime in June, they were going to be showing gameplay. We knew this. So, yeah, I mean, we knew this was coming this month. We knew it. We just didn't know till now when.
Over 15 minutes of gameplay, and it's going to take place on the official Dragon Age YouTube channel on June 11th, which is Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, which will be 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the blog. The other big news here is, of course, the name change. So Dragon Age 4, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is now called Dragon Age the Veilguard. And at initial glance, without thinking too deep on it, the first thing that I think of with this name is the Veil, of course. And the Veil is this metaphysical...
As he points down here, can't see it, but it's in his comments. he says, Wolfhard FPS says, my bad for my pronunciation of Veil. My old accent came out for this video. I think that's actually common. I seem to remember with him that there's some words he says oddly. That's fine, though. Whatever. I'm not picking on him. I'm just, yeah. So when he says Val, he means Veil.
Barrier between basically the material plane, if we're speaking in D&D lore terms, so the continent of Thedas, the physical world, I guess you could say, and also the Fade, which is like this spiritual place of existence where there's spirits and demons, and the Val is basically the barrier between both of those worlds. And of course, if that barrier is broken, yeah, spirits will come out, but also a ton of demons come out as well. So the Val needs to be guarded. But before we get too deep into it, a quick message from my favorite video sponsor.
No sponsors. Screw the sponsors. Bad enough I gotta listen to Wolfhard. I don't want to listen about the sponsors.
And also less time for cooking equals more time for...
Damn it. Okay, looks like it's right about here. Let's go.
Of other reasons why you may not want the Fade and the material plane to be connected together here. Mages are connected to the Fade, and if that barrier didn't exist, magic would take over, and not everybody would necessarily be too happy about that. But we'll get into all that in a future lore video. But now we're moving on to BioWare's blog post here, which is connected to their Twitter post. So this is as of June 6th today. The next Dragon Age has a new title. Hi everyone. Summer is nearly upon us, and as promised, we're ready to provide an update on our big reveal. We'd like to invite the world to join us on Tuesday, June 11th for the official first look at gameplay for the next Dragon Age.
Sure.
After Dragon Age Inquisition launched, the studio was given an incredible opportunity to explore, test, and validate a variety of gameplay concepts as we work to determine what the next Dragon Age could look like.
No, that's not what happened, BioWare. What happened was you took 10 years to get to this point because you kept effing up. You kept trying to force this into a multiplayer game. You were trying to make it like a console game. You were coming up with all these really terrible friggin' ideas, and then you would just scrap it all and start all over again, time and time and time and time again. Should have struck while the iron is hot. You know, this thing should have come out 6 years ago. 6 years ago, this game should have come out, honestly.
And yeah, this is like the big mystery question here. Each Dragon Age game, from Origins to Dragon Age 2 to Inquisition, they all had some pretty big changes from one another, especially in the gameplay department.
Somewhat.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what Dragon Age 4 is
Narrative was always the same, though.
Be like. Later in this video, we do get some more information from Gary McKay on the gameplay and combat. Chapter markers below. We brought everything to the table, which, yes, even included a multiplayer concept. Yeah, fans were not happy about that, or not happy about the possibility of like a live service type game.
No, they weren't. The time we spent experimenting, the time you wasted effing up because you're a failing company and you know how badly you need a win. So badly. How the mighty BioWare has fallen. Indeed. Can they even get a base hit with this game? Nobody knows at this point.
Thankfully, BioWare went back on that, so that's actually, I would say, a good sign. The time we spent experimenting and iterating gradually taught us a lot. This work and the amazing support from EA helped us refocus on creating an incredible single-player game with all the choices, characters, and world building you'd expect from us. So yeah, I guess these are good things to hear, but it kind of sounds more like PR talk. We're going to have to actually see the game ourselves before we can see if this all worked out, because you can't forget all the layoffs and all the veterans of BioWare that are no longer a part of this.
Led the sinking ship, in other words, yeah. A sinking, on fire, filled with giant stones ship. That one, yeah. Being sucked down a whirlpool with a, hideous giant octopus at the bottom with his arms wrapped around the ship, breaking it into pieces, and magic cascading off it in lightning bolts were zapping all the people trying to flee. And yeah, it was pretty fucking bad. I'm just saying. It was pretty fucking bad. They were all getting out of this mess. That's true. And eventually you drain pretty much all your talent away. The only question is, the people that are left, the people you replace them with eventually, do they have the talent to rise up and do this? Nobody knows. And quite honestly, as excited as I am for this game, I am very, very hesitant, and I will not slap my money down on this game until it's been out for probably a couple of months, and I see, based on other people's gameplay and other people's takes, whether or not I actually want to buy it. Because as much as I want to continue the wonderful story of Thedas that BioWare started, I don't trust them right now. I don't trust them as far as I could stab them with a two-handed sword across the neck.
Project, and some of them didn't have the greatest things to say, so just think about that. All the amazing support from EA, probably not the right line for Gary to say here.
Nope.
But whatever.
EA sucks at
BioWare,
this.
We create worlds of adventure, conflict, and companionship where you're at the center of it all. As fans of our franchise know, every Dragon Age game has delivered a new standalone story. Set in the world of Thedas, these tales explore epic locales and threats, always thrusting you into a new conflict. Each game also introduces a new lead hero, the Warden, Hawk, the Inquisitor. So you have Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and then, of course, Dragon Age Inquisition, that you can call your own. You can expect all that and more with the new game.
Good.
And of course, much like your unique hero, it wouldn't be a Dragon Age game without an amazing cast of companions, right?
Hopefully.
Each of the 7 unique characters, so 7 companions in this game, I don't think that's been revealed yet, at least I didn't know that make up your companions will have deep and compelling storylines.
It's never been written before, but we got to see a picture of, I believe, 7 or 8 characters, all shadowed and stuff, marching kind of in a line or in a V formation. We did see that previously. That was old artwork.
I didn't know that make up your companions will
You
have
did.
deep and compelling storylines where the decisions you make will impact your relationships with them. So that's classic BioWare right there, as well as their lives. You'll unite this team of unforgettable heroes as you take on a terrifying new threat unleashed on the world. Naturally, the Dreadwolf still has an important part in this tale, but you and your companions, not your enemies, are at the heart of this new experience. So the Dreadwolf, I mean, I don't think talking about Dragon Age 3 is spoilers, but the Dreadwolf is, of course, that certain bald elf named Solas, and he is actually an elven god. And Solas, I don't think would mind the Fade becoming part of the material plane.
Not at all.
So to capture
Just
what
plan.
this game is all about, we changed the name as the original title just didn't show how strongly we feel about our new heroes, their stories, and how you'll need to bring them together to save all of Thedas. We proudly introduce you to Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, I gotta say, I think Dragon Age Dreadwolf sounds way better, but
Yep.
BioWare seems
Understand
to
it,
be giving
though.
some compelling reasons as to why they want the Veilguard, but Dreadwolf just flows so nicely off the tongue, especially the dragon being a D. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is just so good, but it is what it is. This name is not too bad, so. We've been waiting a long
All right.
time for this reveal, and we're so ready to show you what we've been up to. We'll see you on Tuesday, June 11th at 8 a.m. Pacific at the Dragon Age YouTube channel with over 15 minutes of gameplay from the opening moments of the game that has you jumping back into Thedas on your new adventure.
So 15 minutes with over 15 minutes of gameplay from the opening moments of the game. So we're probably going to see a lot of cutscene setup of the game, and probably just a very small amount past that of you running around in your starting area, hacking away, doing a few moves with your character, that kind of thing. It is opening moments of the game, so that's my guess anyways. A lot of cutscene stuff, probably.
So over 15 minutes of gameplay. It seems like it's going to be pure gameplay.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. See, again, is a cutscene gameplay? Would the story start without a cutscene and just start like create your character and go running around and do things? I mean, it's not an open world MMO RPG thing here. It's not like that. It's not a survival game where you've just been stranded on an island and you start out picking up sticks and rocks. I would be very, very surprised if it didn't have a lot of cutscene to set it up. And is cutscene gameplay? I don't know. Is this what we're talking about? We don't know.
Which is really cool. And it's also kind of cool that it's the opening moments of the game, so we're not getting like any spoilers or anything like that. This moment means so much to everyone at BioWare, and we wouldn't be here without you. We're ready to have some fun, so join the chat early. We've got a few special surprises for you. Thank you for all your support. See you soon.
Yeah, I work and I got a life. I won't be joining any live stream over at BioWare YouTube or wherever the hell it is. But I'll be looking to catch up on this afterwards. So I will be marking this down June 11th, and it is what is it called? It's Dragon Age 4 basically, which is the Veilguard now. Gameplay reveal. So I'm writing this down here, so hopefully I don't forget about it. So on the 11th or 12th or whatever, I could go find some of this and react to it as well.
So yeah, big news coming out of BioWare here. And man, I really just hope that this gameplay reveal turns out to at least be decent. I really hope it turns out to be good, of course. But if the game even looks decent or even mid, I'm going to be covering the crap out of this game because the Dragon Age franchise, especially the lore and the world building, etc. I'm reading David Gator's books right now.
Look, you won't. Let me be honest. You won't find someone who loves Dragon Age and Thetis more than I do. You won't. If I seem unenthusiastic, it's because I have been burned time and time again in the last 10 friggin' years. That's why. By BioWare. By Wolfhard said as people too, but never mind that. So I'm pretty pessimistic on whether or not they can pull this off adequately. But I'm hopeful at the same time because I want this to go well and I want to jump into this game and play the hell out of it and love it. I play these games for the stories and the characters most of all. It's not so much about how the gameplay works. It's not so much about how the world looks, although that's part of it. It is the storyline that we're following that has so much backstory to it and the great characters, especially your own character, the way they interact with others. Did a very good job in the first 3 games of making your character feel like your character. They need to do that again. They need to do that fairly quickly. I don't think they can do it in 15 minutes of gameplay, but I mean, they need to do it fairly quickly with the start of that game. They really, really do. And there's an art to that. There is an art to that. As far as Thetis and Dragon Age goes, I've read all the books. I think I've read all of the comic books as well that came out based on Thetis. I am very, very familiar with this world. I mean, I'm not going to be able to pull facts out of my head or anything, but I'm very, very familiar with this world, what has happened, what is happening, what's going on. I love this world. I love the Dragon Age story world. This is where Thetis got its name, the Dragon Age story. Started using that, the DAS, and then they end up calling it Thetis. It is an amazing world. They've done an amazing job with it. Hoping beyond hope that they can put out another game as good as the first 3. But I'm not very positive they'll do it. We'll see. We'll have to see. But I cannot recommend enough the first 3 games. Cannot recommend them enough. And if you're going to play them, go back and start with an old game and play with the first Dragon Age Origins, get all the DLC for it, play all the DLC for these games because they are important to the damn story. They're not just something thrown at you to make extra money. Go back and play the game even though it looks a little bit dated because the story is extremely important to setting up what's going on. Go back after that and play Dragon Age 2. People are like, that was the worst Dragon Age. I love Dragon Age 2. Absolutely adored it. Did it have issues in some areas that could have improved? Oh, hell yeah. But it was great. Freaking riveting, great characters and story. Absolutely loved it. Dragon Age Inquisition, did it have pacing issues? Oh, hell, it had pacing issues. But it was amazing story. Amazing story. Just would draw you in. And you're like, oh my goodness, you go from this little character to kind of accepting what you're becoming, and it's the true journey of a hero. Not just some guy who runs around with a sword and hacks at people and stuff until he gets more powerful so he can do something. It's not like that at all. It's truly, it's world building at its finest. Hopefully they can continue that.
So good. It really means a lot to me, and I'm going to want to see where this story goes. And it does seem like BioWare is focusing a lot on the companions and their stories and things of that nature. Let's hope that they do it in a good way. But if you're a Dragon Age nerd, make sure to stick around because now we're going to go over an IGN article with Gary McKay, who actually talked to different sources, and we got some more information on Dragon Age. The Veilguard. And the first thing I want to talk about here is in this article, it says BioWare confirmed that the Veilguard will feature 7 playable party members, which we already talked about, and that it will feature fun and fluid moment-to-moment combat. So if you're like me in the past, whenever that leak...
Whoa. Will feature 7 playable character? What? No, that's something completely different than what they said before. What? The Veilguard will feature 7 playable party members. Okay. What does that mean? To me, that means there's 7 characters and you can choose for one of them. They're all pre-made. If that's the case, fuck you. Not playing the damn game. Fuck off. That better not be the case. Because that completely undermines and ruins everything Dragon Age has stood for the first 3 games. So that better be damn well wrong. Because that is strike 1, 2, and 3, you're out. Right there. If that is the case. Now, if you've got 7, you create your own character and you've got 7 members who join your party and you could play as them, that doesn't make much sense to me either, but maybe? I don't know.
Talked about, and that it will feature fun and fluid
Let's see this article.
moment-to-moment combat. So if you're like me in the past, whenever that leak came out, I already went through a grieving period just accepting that this is going to be a pure action RPG and the game's not going to have much strategy or tacticalness behind it. I already went through that grieving period and just accepted that. And now I'm going into this game expecting more of an action RPG. With that said, we do have some information here on the combat system from Gary. As an RPG, strategy and combat is important as you bring 2 companions to every fight.
Only 2.
Each companion brings unique powers and abilities that have direct impact on how you choose to take down the enemies at hand. To add another layer to that strategic element, we're introducing a new ability wheel where you can pause the action and set up your next move, whether it's your companion's abilities or your own. Hallelujah. Oh man, I'm so happy that this is technically real time with pause. I do think this game is going to lean much more into action combat versus, like, let's say the strategy and tacticalness that you find in Origins, that type of real time with pause. But the fact that it exists is a huge relief to me. And
see, to me, this doesn't sound like Dragon Age again. This sounds fucking terrible. It sounds like pigeonholing something else into the Dragon Age series that doesn't fucking need to be there. And that nobody, except for maybe Wolfhard, a few other people, have asked for. Again, this sounds fucking terrible. This is what worries me. This BioWare and EA are 2 companies that, when they work together, have absolutely no fucking idea what people actually want. That really concerns me.
hopefully, if I bump the difficulty up to the max difficulty, it's going to require real strategy and...
No. I don't care about difficulty. This is an RPG. This is based on lore. This is based on world building and your character. I don't care about difficulty. I don't want to play Souls combat games. Oh, BioWare. Yeah. This is why I'm worried about this game. I think it's going to be, at this point, from what I'm hearing, I think it's going to be dog shit. And that really upsets me.
Pausing and trying to evaluate the battleground. I'm not sure if we're still going to have the isometric view. We're going to have to wait to find out. But I'm really happy to at least hear them talking about strategic elements behind the game.
What the fuck?
Really happy.
That's terrible.
The ability wheel opens up a huge amount of strategic possibilities, giving players the ability to control the flow of combat and link powerful combinations of abilities between players and their companions that can quickly turn the tide of any battle. We think we found an exciting balance between fun, fluidity, and strategy for every.
So they believe the only way they can make this game appeal to people is to make it combat focused. What the fuck? Do they never listen? The answer is no, people. They don't listen. Dragon Age is not a combat game. Combat is part of the game because there's fighting and you have things you have to overcome. But it's not a combat game. It's a story that you live in and focus this way and that way as you go through the story. It's not a combat-based game. Oh my God. This is how companies ruin their own games. This is how companies ruin their own games.
Encounter. Really excited to see how this turns out, and of course we only have to wait a few more days.
Yeah, I'm not too excited about this, people. I'm not too excited about this, and seeing Wolfhart's smug face here, getting more excited about it because he wants some hard combat, wants to crank the difficulty up. Like, fuck off. There's about 1 billion games with hard combat that you can crank the difficulty up. Leave the world-based great RPGs alone the way they are. I got nothing. I got nothing more I could say. I'm just gonna sit here for the next several hours and shake my head, try not to cry. I don't know. Don't know. This is a game in a game world that I very much care about, and it's like all my fears are now coming to fruition. Everything they needed to stay away from, they've jumped on and pushed to the forefront. The links down below, people, and don't forget to have your say from Miss Valley Entertainment News. Are you interested in Dragon Age 4? Are you more or less interested after hearing this and my thoughts? Let me know. My name is Dread. Take it easy, everybody.